ng ilang sandali ang madilim na langit ng Spain at Portugal matapos dumaan ang isang meteor.
Namangha ang maraming residente dahil sa bihirang celestial event na ito. Mga detalye ng balita, ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi. Ako po si Ricky Matay.
At ako si Nina Richie Alago Flores. Ito po ang Mata ng Agila International para sa mga headlines ngayong Lunes ng gabi.
Konklusyon ukol sa aligasyon ng wiretapping ng China maaga pa para ibigay ayon kay Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Senator Francis Escudero nanumpa bilang bagong Senate President matapos magbitiw sa pwesto si Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi matapos bumagsak ang helicopter na kanyang sinasakyan. Patay.
Finals bound ang Minnesota Timberwolves matapos makuha ang upset victory laban sa defending champions.
At former Beatles member Paul McCartney, bilyonaryo na ayon sa Sunday Times Rich List. Hindi pa oras para magbigay ng konklusyon. Ito po ang naging tugon ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. hinggil sa wiretapping umano ng Chinese Embassy sa Manila kay Armed Forces of the Philippines Western Command Vice Admiral Alberto Carlos.
Sa isang media interview, sinabi ng Pangulo na gusto nito munang pakinggan ang audio recording umano pero wala pa ito sa kamay ng pamahalaan.
And I keep hearing that there's a tape and I keep wanting to hear it. And as yet, we don't have it. So it's very hard to come to any conclusion until we know that the thing actually exists.
Punto ng Pangulo kung totoo ngang mayroong audio tape, posibleng nasa kustodiya ito ng China. Dagdag ng Pangulo, naging mahirap anyang tanggapin at paniwalaan na may naging kasunduan hinggil sa new model agreement umano ukol sa West Philippine Sea.
If it does exist, it's in the possession of the Chinese embassy and the Chinese government. So until they release it, becomes harder and harder to believe and to accept that there was an agreement.
Pero tiniyak ng Pangulo na nagtutulungan ang Department of Information and Communications Technology at ang Department of Science and Technology para palakasin ang cybersecurity ng bansa.
Umalma ang ilang senador sa naging direktiba ng China na i-detain ng Beijing ang sinumang foreign nationals, partikular na ang mga Pilipino na magte-trespass sa South China Sea. Ipinahayag ni Senator Francis Tolentino na mayroong existing provision ang United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea o UNCLOS na kung saan ay malalabag ng China kapag ipaiiral ang naturang direktiba. Ayon sa Beijing, magsisimula ang pag-detain ng China Coast Guard sa mga lalabag sa June at posibleng ikulong nito ang mga trespassers ng halos nasa 60 araw. Sa isang pahayag, sinabi ni Tolentino, kung mangyayari yan, baka kung manghahas na sila ng ganyan, merong mga provision sa UNCLOS, lalo na ang Article 73. Maliwanag to. The coastal state can impose penalties for violation of fisheries laws and regulations in the exclusive economic zone and may not include imprisonment. Dagdag naman ng senador na maliwanag na labag ito sa UNCLOS kapag pwede, kung kaya't pwedeng mag-file ang Pilipinas ng panibagong kaso laban sa China sa International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. Matatanda ang una nang naghain ng reklamo ang Pilipinas laban sa China harap ng Permanent Court of Arbitration sa The Hague, Netherlands noong taong 2013. Pinabura naman ng korte ang Pilipinas noong July 2016 nang binasura nito ang 9-dash line claim ng China sa South China Sea.
Pinili bilang pang-25 Senate President si Senator Francis Escudero matapos magbitiw sa pwesto si Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri araw ng Lunes.
Francis Escudero and his family to ascend to the rostrum to take his oath And may we recognize the Benjamin of the House, the youngest member, Senator Mark Villar, to administer the oath.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I
I,
state your name.
Francis Joseph G. Escudero,
Having been elected
having been elected
President of the Senate,
President of the Senate,
do hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
do hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
the duties of my present position and of all others I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines.
the duties of my present position and of all others I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines.
Sa kanyang valedictory speech, itinanghal naman ni Zubiri na sa 2 taong pamumuno bilang Senate President ay maraming mahalagang panukalang batas ang ipinasa ng Senado na kasama sa mga priority agenda ng Marcos administration. Bukod pa rito, mga institutional reforms na ginawa sa Senado gaya ng dagdag na benepisyo sa mga manggagawa ng Senado. Naghain ng motion si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano para maitalaga si Escudero bilang Senate President. 14 na senador ang bumoto pabor kay Escudero, kabilang na ang mga kapartido sa Nationalist People Coalition na sina Senators Grace Poe, mag-inang sina Senator Cynthia at Mark Villar, magkapatid na sina Alan Peter at Pia Cayetano, Senador Win Gatchalian, Jinggoy Estrada, Francis Tolentino, Bongo Revilla at Lito Lapid. Bukod kay Escudero na italaga si Senator Jinggoy Estrada bilang bagong Senate President pro tempore, kapalit ni Legarda, Senador Francis Tolentino bilang Chairman ng Senate Committee on Rules at Majority Floor Leader.
Sa iba pang balita, ipinagdiriwang ng Pilipinas at Malaysia ang ika-60 na anibersaryo ng formal na pagkakaroon ng diplomatic relations. Ibinahagi ng Department of Foreign Affairs ang 60th anniversary logo na mayroong sampagita at bungaraya ang national flowers ng dalawang bansa at sumisimbolo sa pagkakaibigan at pagkakatulad sa kasaysayan at kultura. Dinisenyo ito ng isang Filipino engineer na si Javen Villamater na pinili ng panel of judges mula sa 54 entries na ipinasa. Nagsimula po ang diplomatic relations ng Pilipinas at Malaysia noong taong 1959 nang magkaroon ng Philippine delegation sa Kuala Lumpur at nagsimula ng formal na consulate noong May 18, 1964. Ayon sa ahensya, nananatiling matibay ang relasyon ng dalawang bansa at magmula noong 1964, mas lalo pang naging matibay ito.
Kinumpiska ng mga lokal na otoridad ang mahigit 3 milyong pisong halaga ng ilegal na droga sa Lucena City, Quezon, kasama ang paghuli sa 2 suspects. Ayon sa impormasyon, galing Quezon Police Provincial Office, inaresto mga suspects matapos bilhin ng mga undercover cops ang 1 pirasong heat-seal transparent plastic sachet ng shabu. Nang kinapkapan ng mga suspect, nakuha pa ang 7 pirasong sachets ng illegal na droga. May kabuuang bigat na 156 grams ang nakumpiskang shabu na nagkakahalaga ng 3.36 million pesos. Sa kasalukuyan, ang mga suspect ay nasa kustodiya ng pulis habang ang mga kumpiskadong ebidensya naman ay naibigay na sa forensic unit para sa eksaminasyon.
Inanunsyo ng Department of Health na bumaba ang mga kaso ng dengue sa bansa sa gitna ng mas madalas na pag-ulan nitong nakaraang 2 linggo ng Abril. Ayon po sa ahensya, mayroong 5,380 na kaso ng dengue ang naitala mula March 24 hanggang April 6 ng kasalukuyang taon. Samantala, mula namang April 21 hanggang May 4, mayroong 3,634 cases ang naitala o pagbaba po yan ng 30%. Simula ng 2024, may kabuuang 59,267 cases ng dengue ang naitala sa Pilipinas kung saan 164 ang nasawi. Dahil sa nalalapit na panahon ng tag-ulan, muli nagpapaalala si Health Secretary Teodoro Herbosa sa publiko na sirain ang mga pinagmumulan ng mga lamok sa kanilang mga lugar. Ang dengue po ay nanggagaling sa virus na kinakalat ng mga lamok sa tao at ito ay nagbibigay ng mga sintomas kagaya ng mataas sa lagnat, matinding sakit ng ulo, muscle and joint pains, nausea at rashes.
Nagbabala si Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. na habulin ng mga otoridad ang mga hoarder at price manipulators na bumibiktima sa mga consumer sa gitna ng paghahanda ng bansa laban sa darating na La Nina phenomenon. Sinabi ito ni Chodoro sa pagpupulong ng Task Force El Nino sa Camp Aguinaldo kung saan dinagdag pa niya na handa ang Department of National Defense na magbigay ng suporta sa mga ahensya pagdating sa price monitoring ng basic necessities at prime commodities. Ayon sa Defense Secretary, ang pagpigil sa price manipulation at panghuli sa mga hoarder ay isa sa mga prioridad ng gobyerno sa pagtugon sa La Nina na inaasahang magsisimula sa Hunyo. Noong nakaraang linggo, inatasan ni Chodoro ang Task Force El Nino na simula ng paghahanda para sa La Nina phenomenon sa susunod na buwan. Nauna na ring inihayag ng Pag-asa na ang bansa ay nasa weak El Nino stage na at maaaring matapos na ang weather phenomenon sa Hunyo. Dahil dito hinimok ng ahensya ang publiko na maghanda para sa La Nina, lalo na sa mga lugar na madalas bahain.
Inanunsyo ng Department of Trade and Industry o DTI na hindi muna sila magtataas ng presyo ng ilang food products sa gitna ng inflation at hagupit ng El Nino phenomenon. Ito ay kasunod ng isang pagpupulong ng ahensya at mga food manufacturers kung saan napag-usapan ang kanilang maitutulong sa mga consumers. Kabilang sa mga produktong walang pagtaas sa presyo ay ang processed foods, bottled water, processed milk, and instant noodles. Ayon kay DTI Assistant Secretary Amanda Nograles, nag-commit din ang mga manufacturers sa 60 days na price freeze sa magkakaibang petsa sa buong bansa. Dagdag pa ni Nograles na patuloy silang nakatatanggap ng abiso mula sa mga manufacturers kung kaya't inaasahang darami pa ang mga nasa listahan na makikiisa sa price freeze upang tulungan ang publiko.
Samantala, asahan ang dagdag bawas sa presyo ng mga produktong petrolyo bukas, May 21. Ayon sa advisories ng oil industry firms, ibababa nila ng 10 sentimos ang presyo ng kada litro sa gasolina. 25 sentimos naman ang asahang magiging dagdag sa presyo kada litro ng diesel. Samantala, habang ang kerosene ay nasa 30 sentimos ang akyat presyo ng kada litro.
Susunod, reyna ng the Netherlands bibisita sa Pilipinas.
Dalawang partido ang nagrambulan sa Taiwanese parliament.
And the Palestinian refugees hindi naligtas sa Gaza. Mga detalye ng balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
This sport? Open for Business with Cesar Vallejos. Every Sunday, 9 p.m.
Let's get together. Sunday 25. Sunday 25. Let's knit together. Sunnet 25. Sunnet 25.
Nakatakdang bumisita si Queen Maxima ng the Netherlands sa Pilipinas bukas, May 21 hanggang May 23. Bilang Special Advocate for Inclusive Finance for Development ng United Nations Secretary General, ay inaasahang makikipagpulong si Queen Maxima kina Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Finance Secretary Ralph Recto at Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Dr. Eli Remolona. Kasama rin sa nasabing pagpupulong ang iba pang matataas na finance officials at key policy makers ng bansa. Layo ni Queen Maxima na pagtuunan ng pansin ang pagsulong ng mga pangunahing pundasyon para sa financial inclusion, kabilang na ang connectivity, digital identification at digital payment. Nais din ng Dutch royalty na palakasin ang financial health at resilience ng Pilipinas laban sa economic at climate-related challenges.
Kumpirmado na po ang pagkamatay ni Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi sa isang pagbagsak ng helicopter kasama sina Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdullahian at 7 iba pa, kabilang ang isang provincial governor. Noong linggo, pagkatapos ng paglunsad ni President Raisi ng isang joint dam project kasama ang Azerbaijan, siya at iba pang mga kasama niya ay sumakay ng helicopter na nagkaroon ng hard landing sa heavy fog sa kanilang pagbalik. Ang kanyang convoy ay binubuo ng 3 helicopters at 2 sa mga ito ay ligtas na nakarating sa kanilang destinasyon, ang northwestern na lungsod ng Tabriz, subalit ang helicopter na sinasakyan po ng Pangulo ay bumagsak. Bumagsak ito sa rehiyon ng Yolya sa probinsya ng East Azerbaijan dahil sa masamang kondisyon ng panahon na nagpalubha rin sa operations ng 73 rescue teams na ipinadala roon. Nitong umaga, sinabi ni Red Crescent Chief Pirozain Kulivand na natagpuan na ng mga rescue team ang helicopter at patungo na sila sa lugar. Subalit, wala ng signs of life ang mga pasahero. Makalipas ang ilang sandali, kinumpirma ng state media at ng Deputy President for Executive Affairs ng bansa na si Raisi Amir Abdullahian at lahat ng iba pang sakay ng aircraft ay pumanaw na.
این بخش خبری مشروع 31 اردیبهشت 1403 همراهی بفرمایید. انا لله و انا الیه راجعون. خادم الرضا خادم جمهور ایران آیت الله دکتر سید ابراهیم رئیسی رئیس جمهور اسلامی ایران در راه خدمت به مردم به درجه رفیع شهادت رسید.
Ang iba pang mga opisyal na namatay ay sina Ayatollah Mohammed Ali Hashim, isang representative sa probinsya ng East Azerbaijan, at si Malik Ramati, ang provincial governor ng East Azerbaijan. Ipinanganak po si President Raisi noong taong 1960. Nagtapos siya ng PhD sa law mula sa Shahid Motahari University at nagsimula ng kanyang karera bilang isang prosecutor noong unang bahagi ng 1980s. Mula sa pagiging Prosecutor General ng Tehran noong 1994, umangat siya bilang Chief Justice ng bansa noong 2019. Naging Pangulo ng Iran si Raisi noong June 19, 2021 matapos manalo sa isang halalang may kabuuang voter turnout na 48.8% lamang. Siya ay matagal nang kilala bilang isang kritiko ng mga Western na bansa at malapit na kaalyado ni Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Hosseini Khamenei. Ipinahayag ni Russian President Vladimir Putin ang kanyang pakikiramay sa pagkamatay ni Raisi. Sinasabing si Sayyid Ibrahim Raisi ay isang natatanging politiko na inalay ang buong buhay sa paglilingkod sa kanyang bansa at isang tunay na kaibigan ng Russia. Nagpahayag din po ng kalungkutan si Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at binigyan diin ang kontribusyon ni Raisi sa pagpapatibay ng ugnayan ng India at ng Iran.
I want to say that it is a very sad day for the Islamic Ummah. We are all very sad, and so are the Muslims in the in the great country of Turkey, Pakistan, and Islamic Ummah on the sad demise of His Excellency the President of Iran and His Excellency and our common brother, the Foreign Minister. So we offered condolences and Fatiha for the bereaved, for the deceased people, and also offer prayer for the bereaved families, for the patients. We both brothers, had, great sorrow and sadness on the hearing of this news.
Sinabi rin ni Pakistani President Asif Ali Zardari na mag-oobserba ng isang araw ng pagluluksa ang bansa bilang respeto sa pagkamatay ni President Raisi. Itinuring naman ni Chinese President Xi Jinping na ang pagkamatay ni Raisi ay isang malaking kawalan para sa mga mamamayan ng Iran at sinabing nawalan din ng isang kaibigan ang mga mamamayan ng China.
习近平主席指出，莱西总统就任以来，为维护伊朗安全稳定、促进国家发展繁荣作出重要贡献，也为巩固和发展中伊全面战略伙伴关系作出积极努力。他的不幸遇难是伊朗人民的巨大损失，也使中国人民失去了一位好朋友。
Samantala, nagpaabot din ng taus-pusong pakikiramay si Charles Michel na presidente ng European Union Council. Itinalaga naman ni Supreme Leader Ayatollah si Vice President Mohammad Mokber bilang upang gampanan ang pansamantalang tungkulin hanggang sa maganap ang presidential elections na hindi lalampas ng 70 araw mula po ngayon. Hinirang din ng gabinete ng Iran si Deputy Foreign Minister Ali Bagheri Kani bilang pansamantalang Foreign Minister.
Sa halip na ikinalungkot ay ikinutuwa pa ng US Senator ang nangyaring pagbagsak ng sinasakyang helicopter ni Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi. Ilang oras matapos ang landing ng helicopter ng Iranian President sa kabundukan ng Yolfa, nagpost si Florida Senator Rick Scott hinggil kay Raisi. Sinabi ni Scott na isang masamang tao si Raisi at walang nagmahal o makakaalala man lang sa Pangulo ng Iran. Tinawag din ni Scott na isang diktador si Raisi at umaasang maging ligtas at mabuting lugar sa mundo kapag makumpirmang nasawi si Raisi. Nanumpa si Lai Ching-te bilang bagong Pangulo ng Taiwan. Inaasahan ng marami na pagsisimula ng kanyang termino ay pagpapatuloy niyang patakaran ng self-independence sa China at pagpapalakas ng depensa laban sa Beijing.
面对来自中国的各种威胁渗透，我们必须展现守护国家的决心。 提升全民保家卫国的意识，健全国安法治。
Subalit, ipinaaabot din ni President Lai ang kanyang kagustuhan na magkaroon ng mabuting ugnayan sa China. Nanawagan din siya sa gobyerno ni Chinese leader Xi Jinping na ipagpatuloy nila ang kapayapaan sa Taiwan Strait.
我希望中国 正视中华民国存在的事实，尊重台湾人民的选择，拿出诚意，和台湾民选合法的政府，在对等尊严的原则下，以对话取代对抗，交流取代围堵。 进行合作，
更一起乘着歌声的翅膀，及许多国际友人。
Samantala, para naman po sa mga Haitians na nasa Dominican Republic, hindi madali ang gawing legal ang kanilang paninirahan doon. Alamin natin kung bakit sa report na ito ng ating correspondent na si Anjay de Guzman.
Ang Haiti ang pinakamahirap na bansa sa kontinente ng North America. Ito ngayon ay nagdaraan sa krisis na pinalalala ng gangs. Dahil dito, naghigpit ng husto ang Dominican Republic at nagdagdag ng militar sa border nito. Sinarhan din ito ang migration mula noong 1 taon. Ayon sa pamahalaan ng Dominican Republic, hindi nito kayang saluhin ang mga problema ng kanilang kapitbahay. Tinatanggihan din nito ang pressure mula sa ibang bansa na tumanggap ng refugees mula sa Haiti. Para sa Haitians na nakatawid papasok ng Dominican Republic, kahit na naroroon na sila, ramdam nila ang hindi magandang pagtrato sa kanila. Karamihan sa kanila ay dinidetain kahit na ang iba ay may legal na papeles naman. Ang mga ito ay dinideport at ibinabalik sa kaguluhang kanilang pinanggalingan. Sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni Pangulong Luis Abinader ng Dominican Republic, tumaas ang bilang ng deportasyon kasabay ng pagtatayo ng pader sa border nito sa Haiti. Isa sa mga isyu ng kampanya ni Abinader ang immigration na iniugnay niya sa krimen. Si Abinader ay tumatakbong muli sa darating na eleksyon. Ayon kay Abinader na may 70% approval rating, hindi lamang magpapatuloy ang deportasyon, ito anya ay dadami pa. Batay sa Amnesty International, noong 2023 may 250,000 expulsions ang naganap mula sa Dominican Republic. At noong 2022, may 120,000 naman. NG De Guzman para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Inanunsyo ni New Caledonia High Commissioner Louis Lefranc ang kanyang pangako na ibalik ang kaayusan sa teritoryo matapos ang pagkamatay ng hindi bababa sa 6 na katao at pagkasugat ng daang-daang mga protesta o daan-daan dahil sa mga protestang sumiklab noong nakaraang Lunes. Ayon kay Lefranc, humigit kumulang 60 barikada na nailagay ng mga nagpoprotesta sa daan na kumukonekta sa airport at capital ng bansa na Nomea ang naalis na. Ngunit hindi pa bukas ang daan dahil kailangang linisin ang mga debris. Nagsimula ang kaguluhan ng kinondena ng mga indigenous Kanak na bumubuo ng halos 40% ng populasyon sa New Caledonia ang mga bagong patakaran na magbabago sa kung sino ang pinapayagang sumali sa halalan. Matagal nang nababalot ng tensyon ang teritoryo ng France na ito dahil sa mga pro-independence movements, ngunit ang kamakailang protesta ang pinakamatinding karahasan na nakita sa loob ng ilang dekada. Magsasagawa rin ng pagpupulong si French President Emmanuel Macron kasama ang Defense at National Security Council upang talakayin ang sitwasyon sa teritoryo.
Isang grupo ng Israeli peace activists ang bumiyahe kasabay ng ilang aid trucks patungong Gaza. Layunin nilang makarating ng ligtas ang humanitarian aid at hindi muling atakihin at sayangin ng ilang miyembro ng far-right. Jeff Sanidad para sa balita.
Noong nakaraang linggo, 7 truck ng tulong patungong Gaza ang hinarang at niransak ng right-wing activist. Nauwi ito sa investigasyon ng Israeli Police at pag-alma ng Estados Unidos, kung kaya't kahapon tinutukan at binantayang maigi ng isang grupo ng peace activists na tinatawag na Standing Together ang convoy ng 30 aid trucks. Ngunit isa sa trucks ay inatake ulit. Isang Israeli teenager ang nakitang itinatapon ang tulong na pagkain sa lupa. Agad namang pinigilan ito ng pulis. 30 miyembro ng Standing Together ang bumiyahe kasabay ng mga truck upang matiyak na aabot ang mga ito sa kinauukulan.
We are heading toward the Tarkumia checkpoint, not far from Hebron, which is one of the main checkpoints from which aid convoys, trucks carrying food that arrive through Jordan, pass through the West Bank and into Israel en route to Gaza Strip.
Ayon sa organisasyon, maraming buhay ang naisasalba ng aid trucks kung kaya't hindi nila masikmurang makita na niraransak at itinatapon ang mga ito ng mga laban sa humanitarian aid.
What we are coming here today to do as activists from Standing Together and other peace activists is to try and help document these cases as well as call on the police to intervene and do their job, which is to stop the extremist settlers from physically engaging with the truck drivers. We call this the Humanitarian Guard, and it is a new initiative that we set up that already more than 500 Israelis have signed up for these actions.
Ang giyera ng Israel sa Gaza bilang ganti sa pag-atake ng Hamas sa kanila ay nagdulot ng kakulangan ng pagkain, tubig, langis at pangangailangang pangkalusugan. Ito ay naiibsan lamang kung may dumarayong aid papasok ng teritoryo. Jeff Sanidad para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Sa isang talumpati para sa pagtatapos ng mga mag-aaral sa universidad na pinasukan ng civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr., ginagarantiya ni US President Joe Biden na dinidinig niya ang campus protests laban sa giyera sa Gaza. Si Rosel Feria para sa report.
Panauhing pandangal at tagapagsalita si Pangulong Joe Biden sa graduation ceremony ng Morehouse College sa Atlanta, Georgia. Dito nagtapos si Martin Luther King Jr. na tinaguri ang mukha ng karapatang sibil dito sa Estados Unidos. Sa kanyang talumpati, sinabi ng Pangulo na naririnig at nauunawaan niya ang sentimiento ng mga estudyanteng nagpoprotesta laban sa gera ng Israel sa Gaza. Ani Biden kung paanong ikinagagalit ng mga ito ang sitwasyon sa Gaza, gayon din ang nararamdaman ng kanyang pamilya. Anya, nasasaktan ang puso niya sa mga pangyayari ngunit hindi basta-basta mapapahinto ang gera. Dito anya pumapasok ang debate at usapan. Sa kabila nito, sinabi ni Biden na sinusuportahan niya ang mapayapa at walang karahasang protesta. Anya, naririnig niya ang boses ng mga mag-aaral.
So no, some of you ask, what is democracy? We can't stop wars that break out and break our hearts. In a democracy, we debate and dissent about America's role in the world. I want to say this very clearly. I support peaceful nonviolent protest. Your voices should be heard, and I promise you I hear them.
Giniit ng 81-year-old na Democrat na ang tanging solusyon sa gerang Israel-Hamas ay isang independent Palestinian state. Samantala, agarang ceasefire ang panawagan ng Pangulo.
It's a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. That's why I've called for an immediate ceasefire. An immediate ceasefire to stop the fighting. Bring the hostages home. And I've been working on a deal as we speak, working around the clock to lead an international effort to get more aid into Gaza, rebuild Gaza. I'm also working around the clock for more than just one ceasefire. I'm working to bring the region together. I'm working to build a lasting, durable peace. Because the question is, and you see what's going on in Israel today, what after? What after Hamas?
Selferia para sa Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Ayon sa United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees, dahil sa pag-atake ng Israel sa Rafah, wala nang natitirang ligtas na sulok sa Gaza Strip. Myla Simbulan para sa report.
Pinasok na ng tuluyan ng Israel ang pinakakatimugang bahagi ng Gaza noong 6 ng Mayo, ang lungsod ng Rafah. Ang Rafah ay sinasabing pinakahuling lungsod na kinakapitan ng Hamas. Ayon sa United Nations, may 800,000 sibilyan na mula rito ang napilitang lumikas dahil sa pag-atake ng Israel. Ayon kay Philip Lazzarini ng UNRWA, sa kabila ng pakiusap ng international community na huwag lunsadan ng opensiba ang Rafah, itinuloy pa rin ng Israel ang pag-atake dito. Anya dahil diyan, wala nang naiwang ligtas na lugar sa Gaza.
Despite all the calls by the international community not to launch an offensive in Rafah, in reality an offensive has started on May 6, and between May 6 and today we have again about half of the population of Gaza being on the road, forced to flee, despite the fact that they have been moving and forced to flee at multiple times since the beginning of the war. Now the question always is where to go, and we keep saying there is absolutely nowhere to go because there is absolutely no safe place in the Gaza Strip.
Dagdag pa ni Lazzarini, mula noong 6 ng Mayo, kakaunting tulong na lamang ang pumapasok sa Gaza. Ito anya ay lalong nagpapalala ng matinding pagkagutom doon.
Since May 6 also, there is very little assistance trickling down into the Gaza Strip, and the fear today is that the gain we have made while engaged in a race against the clock to prevent a looming famine in the Gaza Strip, that these gains might quickly be reversed. Today, The two main crossings of the south, being Rafah and Kerem Shalom, are located in combat zone, so almost nothing in terms of aid is crossing this border right now.
Kaugnay nito, nagbabala si Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi na kung walang ceasefire, hindi mapipigilan ang tuluyang pagkawasak ng Gaza at ng mga tao rito.
Without a ceasefire, you're not going to be able to stop the humanitarian catastrophe that continues to deepen in Gaza.
Binanggit din na Safadi ang iba pang krisis na kinakaharap ng Palestine. Kabilang dito ang pag-atake sa mga lungsod nito at sa refugee camps. Gayon din ang pagharang at pangransak sa humanitarian aid trucks, pati na ang hindi pagbabayad di umano ng Israel sa utang nito sa Palestine.
Situation on the West Bank as well. We have another, quieter war on the West Bank with security attacks on Palestinians in Palestinian cities, refugee camps. We have settlers terrorism that continues to terrorize Palestinians. We have settler terrorist attack on aid convoys. We have a suffocation of the Palestinian economy. We have the Israeli government withholding the money it owes the Palestinians, which is making the Palestinian authorities unable to pay salaries. So there's a catastrophe happening on the West Bank as well.
May nasimbulan para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Susunod, Alexander Usyk wagi bilang undisputed heavyweight champion.
NBA contenders handa ng sumabak sa conference finals.
At Sean Diddy Combs nagsorry matapos mailabas ang video ng pang-aabuso. Iba pang detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Mga maiinit na balita
at rumaratsyad ang usapan ng bayan.
Ihahatid namin sa 100%!
100% ang pagbabalita.
100% talakayan.
Lunes hanggang Biyernes.
Alas 5 hanggang alas 7 ng umaga.
Live na live sa Radyo Agila 1062 Mega Manila.
At sa Net 25.
100%!
Sunet 25. Let's live together. Sunet 25.
Where the grass is green, the Net 25 Golf Cup is there to be seen. Because one thing's for sure, there's nowhere but swinging up. Take a glimpse of the second Net 25 Golf Cup. Let's play golf together, soon with Net 25. This portion.
Nagbabalik ang Mata ng Agila International. Sa pagpapatuloy ng ating mga balita ngayong gabi, lumiwanag po ng ilang sandali ang madilim na kalangitan ng Spain at Portugal matapos tumaan ang isang bihirang meteor nitong Sabado ng gabi. Namangha ang maraming residente roon dahil sa hindi nila inaasahang makukuhanan ito ng kanilang mga kamera. Batay sa mga eksperto, hindi pa kumpirmado kung bumagsak na ito sa lupa. Subalit ayon naman sa lokal na ulat ay posible itong tumama malapit sa bayan ng Caso Daire. Samantala sa ibang report naman ay malapit ito sa Pinheiro.
Samantala, nagsimula ng extermination efforts ng mga residente sa Nevada, USA dahil sa pagkalat ng libu-libong mga kuliglig. Kita sa video mga naggagapangang insekto sa haligi ng isang bahay sa Spring Creek, Nevada. Ayon sa mga eksperto, tuwing summer nagsisipaglabasan ang mga nasabing kuliglig na tinatawag na Mormon crickets. Dagdag na mga ito na mawawala rin sila matapos ang mating season ng mga naturang insekto sa dulo ng summer at pagsisimula ng autumn.
Mahigit sa 66 na katao ang patay habang 5 naman ang sugatan sa probinsya ng Faryab, Afghanistan matapos ang sunod-sunod na pagbaha doon. Ayon sa tagapagsalita ng Faryab Governor na si Asmatullah Moradi, tinatayang nasa 500 mga bahay, 400 ektaryang sakahan at 300 mga hayop ang naitalang pinsala ng naging pagbaha sa lugar. Dagdag pa niya ay patuloy ang kanilang ginagawang search and rescue operations sa ilang mga tao na nawawala. Batay po sa ulat ng United Nations World Program at Taliban officials ay nitong nakaraang linggo lamang ay nakaranas din ng matinding pagbaha sa mga probinsya ng Baglan at Ghor. Umabot naman sa 300 ang patay sa pagbaha sa Baglan habang nasa mahigit sa 50 ang patay sa probinsya ng Ghor.
Sa Ontario, Canada, patuloy ang pagtunton kung sino ba talaga ang batang babaeng nasawi at nadiskubre noong 2022 sa isang ilog doon. Layo ng mga otoridad na malaman na tunay o ang tunay na identidad ni Grand River Baby. Narito ang detalye mula kay Cherry Recolizado.
Mahigit 2 taon na ang nakalipas nang matagpuan ang katawan ng isang batang babae na nakalutang sa Grand River sa Danville, Ontario. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin alam ang kanyang tunay na katauhan. Nitong linggo, sasapit na ang pangalawang anibersaryo ng trahedyang ito. Ang Ontario Provincial Police o OPP ay naglabas ng 3D dimensional facial approximation at isang bagong video para makatulong sa paghahanap sa pamilya at identity ng biktima. $50,000 ang ibibigay na pabuya sa kung sino ang makapagbibigay ng mahalagang impormasyon na makakatulong sa investigasyon. Sinabi ni OPP Detective Inspector Sean Glassford na sila ay umaasa na ang 3D approximation ay makakatulong para may makaalala at makakilala sa batang biktima. Ang batang babae ay tinaguri ang The Grand River Baby. Naglabas din ang OPP ng isang video kung saan ipinapakita nila ang mga ginagawa nila sa kasalukuyang investigasyon upang ma-identify ang nasabing bata at maiuwi na ang kanyang labi sa kanyang pamilya. Cherry Recolizado, Toronto, Ontario, para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Napagtagumpayan ni Alexander Usyk ang kanyang pangarap maging undisputed heavyweight champion matapos niyang maisahan ang Breton na si Tyson Fury. Si Vin Pascua para sa ating Sports Roundup.
Natalo ni Alexander Usyk si Gypsy King Tyson Fury via split decision para maging unang undisputed heavyweight boxing champion sa loob ng 24 years. Napaatras ng Ukrainian Olympic gold medalist ang 6'9" Englishman sa isang malutong na kaliwa sa 9th round kung saan sa final seconds naman ay na-corner na naman si Fury at napabagsak bago siya naisalba ng final bell. 2 judge ang pumabor sa 37-year-old Ukrainian 115-112 at 114-113 kung saan binigay ng pangatlo ang panalo kay Fury 114-113. Ito ang unang pagkatalo na nakuha ni Tyson Fury matapos ang 34 fights sa kanyang 16-year career. Ayon naman sa kanyang kontrata ay posible namang mabawi niya ang kanyang pagkatalo sa isang rematch na nakatakdang ganapin ngayong taon. Manipis ang panalo ni Usyk sa 2 scorecard pero sapat na ito para madagdag ang WBC belt ni Fury sa koleksyon niyang WBA, IBF at WBO belts. Huling nagkaroon ng undisputed heavyweight champion noong napag-isa ni Lennox Lewis ang lahat ng heavyweight championship belts noong 1999.
At buo na po ang lineup ng NBA Finals sa Eastern and Western Conference. Sa Eastern Conference, si Jason Tatum at ang Boston Celtics ay nakatakdang harapin ng batang team ng Indiana Pacers sa pangunguna ni Tyrese Haliburton at Pascal Siakam. Sa Western Conference naman ay maghaharap ang kampo ni Luka Doncic at Anthony Edwards matapos ito makuha ng Minnesota Timberwolves upset victory laban ang defending champions Denver Nuggets.
Totoo nga ang motto ng NBA na where amazing happens. Pasok na sa Western Conference Finals ang Dallas Mavericks matapos nilang gulatin ang Oklahoma City Thunder 117-116 sa Game 6. Nangibabaw sa laro si Luka Doncic na nagtala ng 29 points, 10 rebounds at 10 assists habang mayroong tig 22 points si Kyrie Irving at Derrick Jones. Hawak pa ng Thunder ang kalamangan 116-115 sa natitirang 20 seconds ng laro. Subalit ito ay nag-iba nang ma-foul si Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sa tangkang 3-pointer ni PJ Washington para sa labang. Naipasok ni Washington ang dalawang free throw na nagbigay ng kalamangan at panalo sa Dallas. Maraming kumestyon sa tawag ni Gilgeous-Alexander, subalit nanindigan ng mga game officials na malinaw na foul ito. Ito ang kanilang pangalawang finals appearance sa loob ng 3 taon. Pasok na rin ang Indiana Pacers sa Eastern Conference Finals matapos ilampaso ang New York Knicks 130-109 sa Game 7 sa harap ng isang fully booked Madison Square Garden. Ito na ang muling pagpasok ng Pacers sa Eastern Conference Finals matapos ang 10 taon. Bumida sa panalo ng Pacers si Tyrese Haliburton na nagtala ng 26 points, 4 na rebounds at 6 na assist. Sa simula ng laro ay umarangkada na agad ang Pacers at hindi na pinalabang pa at pinahiya ang Knicks sa sariling court nila sa Madison Square. Dahil dito ay makakaharap ng Pacers ang Boston Celtics para sa Eastern Conference Finals. Ang pinaka-aabangan naman ay ang pagkapanalo ng Timberwolves na lubog ng halos 20 points sa third quarter. Natalo ng Minnesota Timberwolves ang defending champions na Denver Nuggets para makaharap ang Dallas Mavericks sa Western Conference Finals. Binuhat ng 23 points at 11 rebounds ni Karl Anthony Towns at 22 points ni Jaden McDaniels para umusan ang Denver 98-90. Naka 18 points lang si Anthony Edwards pero bumawi naman ito sa 8 rebounds at 7 assists para tulungan ang kanyang team. Ito ang unang beses na makakabalik ang Timberwolves sa NBA Finals sa 20 seasons kung saan huling dinala pa ni Kevin Garnett ang Minnesota sa Finals laban sa Sacramento Kings. Maghaharap ang Timberwolves at ang Dallas Mavericks sa pangunguna ni Luka Doncic para sa Western Conference Finals. Para sa Balitang Sports, Vin Pascua para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Inamin ng American rapper na si Sean Diddy Combs sa kanyang Instagram account ang ginawa niyang pananakit sa kanyang ex-girlfriend na si Cassie matapos lumabas ng kontrobersyal na hotel video footage ngayong linggo.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
Ito ang unang pagkakataon na nagbigay ng pahayag si Combs mula sa ilang mga kaso at alegasyon na kanyang kinakaharap sa nakalipas na 6 na buwan.
But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Makikita sa hotel video footage ang naglalakad na si Combs habang nakasuot lamang ng tuwalya nang bigla niyang suntukin at pagsisipain ang ex-girlfriend niya na si Cassie. Bukod dito ay mapapansin din ang marahas na paghila at pagkaladkad nito at ang walang awa nitong pagbato ng isang vase. Samantala, nagsampa naman ng kaso si Cassie noong Nobyembre laban sa kanyang dating kasintahan na si Combs matapos ang ilang taon nitong pang-aabuso. Kasunod nito ay iba pang mga reklamo at kaso kay Combs na naging dahilan para sugurin ng mga otoridad ang kanyang mansyon sa Los Angeles at Miami. Sa kabila ng pananakit niya sa kumakalat na hotel video footage, ay hindi siya maaaring kasuhan dahil sa umiiral na the statutes of limitations for the assault and battery charges sa kanilang bansa.
Samantala, ang former Beatles star na si Paul McCartney ay ang kauna-unahang bilyonaryong musikero ng United Kingdom. Tinatayang nasa 1.10 billion pounds ang net worth ni McCartney. Ayon sa Sunday Times Rich List, nakaambag sa yaman ni McCartney ang madalas niyang tours o paglibot para i-promote ang kanyang mga albums. Nakatulong din ang back catalogs niya para siya yumaman at nakadagdag din sa income ni McCartney ang royalties na nakukuha niya nang i-cover ni Beyoncé ang kanta ng The Beatles na Blackbird. Susunod, U.S. Honorary Degree Doctor of Literature, iginawad sa pusa.
Portrait ng billionaire na si Ryan Hart aalisin sa National Gallery.
At abangan ang iba pa mga istorya pagdating ni Alma Angeles at ng Net25 World News. Walang bibitiw, marami pa kong balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Mga kada siguradong gaganahan kayong ngayong Tuesday dahil mala beauty queen o fashion show ang datingan natin. Meron lang naman tayong bigating fashion designer na mga kasama, walang iba kundi si Leo Almodal. Magkakaroon tayo ng fashion chikahan.
Naku, Emma! Hindi lang yun, Mapapasana all tayo dyan sa mag-asawang na vlogger at riding together pa sila all the time. Sana all, no? Sana all.
Hay, nako amiga, mag-move on ka na kasi. Ito talaga yung problema kapag nagsiselfone ang mga anak kahit nasa paaralan. Kaya ito na nga mga mamis, may panukalang batas na iban na ang paggamit ng cellphone sa paaralan. Anong say nyo doon? Ang mainit na debate sa kada umaga, bukas na.
Let's get together sa Net25.
Matatag ang paninindigan. Matapang sa pagresponde. Matapat sa paglilingkod. Patikang tagapagbalita. Mata natin sa balitaan. Alex Santos kasama gabi-gabi sa Mata ng Agila Primetime.
Isang honorary degree na Doctor of Literature ng Vermont State University ang tabi na si Max. Ayon sa Castleton campus ng Vermont State, binigyang pagkilala ang naturang pusa, hindi lang dahil sa panguhuli ng bubwit at pagtulog, ito ay dahil na rin sa pakikisama nito. Sa isang Facebook post ng Vermont State University, tinawag nilang isang magiliw na miyembro ng Castleton family si Max. Dagdag ng paaralan, ang titulong binigay kay Max ay isang pribilehiyo para makatanggap ito ng mga catnip, stretching post at litter box. Nakatira si Max sa isang bahay na katapat ng main entrance patungo sa campus. Ide-deliver ang diploma ni Max sa kanyang owner na estudyante rin sa Vermont State matapos ang graduation ceremony nito.
Samantala, tinawagan ng bilyonaryang si Gina Reinhardt ng National Gallery ng Australia upang ipatanggal ang kanyang portrait sa exhibition nito doon. Ang nasabing portrait ni Reinhardt ay iginuhit ni indigenous artist Vincent Namatjira. Naku, hindi po pala nagustuhan ni Reinhardt ang kanyang portrait dahil ipinapakita raw ang kanyang mukha sa isang unflattering light. Pero sinabi naman ni Mahithira na ipinintan niya ang mundo katulad ng kanyang nakikita. Ipinagtanggol naman ng mga art lovers ang National Gallery ng Australia at maging si Mahithira. Dagdag pa ni National Association for the Visual Arts Executive Director Penelope Benton, may karapatan si Reinhardt na magpahayag ng sarili niyang opinyon ukol sa gawa ni Mahithira. Subalit, walaan niyang otoridad si Mahithira na i-pressure ang National Gallery ng Australia para tanggalin ang kanyang portrait doon.
Ako, pinag-usapan natin kanina, di ba you and I both agree na maganda kaya
Actually,
yung...
maganda siya.
It's actually a nice interpretation. I love it.
It will actually be an honor for me to be painted, di ba, by an artist, an indigenous artist na talaga namang kinikilala rin sa kanilang bansa. At to think na nung pa sa kanilang National Gallery, di ba, why not, di ba?
And also, if you give an artist the freedom to express whatever it is that he has in his mind or how he feels in a portrait, di ba, you have to respect na ganun yung basa niya. Sabi nga ni Mahithira, siya ay nagpipinta ayon sa kung paano raw niya nakikita yung mundo.
Tama.
So dapat, di ba, respeto sa...
Just like art, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So malay mo naman, for the artist, ayun yung ganda para sa kanyang, para sa kanyang paningin. Well, we are talking because, of course, I always, lagi kong fineflex si Nina na siya ay painter. Ako naman po ay isang connoisseur sa painting kasi nangongolekta po tayo ng mga paintings.
So sabi mo nga, pag nag-abroad ka,
actually,
ano yung
kung yung
gift
iba
mo sa sarili
po, mahilig mag-shopping, di ba, pag nag-abroad, gusto ng bag, gusto ng kung ano-ano. Ako po, every time I go anywhere new, naghahanap ako na magkakarikature sa akin. Kasi for me, no matter how it looks, kahit hindi ko kamukha minsan laki ng ilong, minsan, di ba?
Medyo may misproportion.
Misproportion. Pero for me, that's how they interpret me. For me, that's my souvenir because I believe, di ba?
Diba? Gusto ko yun.
I believe. Nasa bawat lugar, bawat kultura, iba-iba yung kanilang interpretation of beauty. Ano pa kung bawat tao, di ba? At artist pa, di ba?
And yun na nga, it's nice na makita ka sa iba-ibang paningin, sa iba-ibang mata, di ba?
Di ba? Napakaganda nun.
Sayang yun, ang hinahin ako.
Anyway, tingnan naman natin kung ano kaya masasabi ni Miss Alma Angeles. Tingnan natin din, Mina, kung ano pa ibang mga balita niya at interpretation mula sa iba pang dako ng mundo. Dahil parating na si Alma, subalit, tandaan, narito po kami para maghatid ng balita sa amang dako ng mundo. Muli, ako po si Ricky Matay.
Ako naman si Nina Richie Alago Flores. Ito ang mata ng Agila International para sa balitang nangyari sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Punta naman tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa Net25 World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina and Ricky. Tonight on Net25 World News, we're diving deep into the most pressing international issues. I'm Alma Angeles. Let's get started. Iranian state media reported that President Ebrahim Raisi died today after his helicopter crashed in a mountainous region of the country. New Taiwan President Lai Ching-te urged China to stop political and military intimidation and address the threat of war due to the increasing pressure from China to bring Taiwan under mainland rule. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs issued an apology after a disturbing video emerged showing him assaulting his former girlfriend in 2016. And a fiery surprise lit up the night sky over Spain and Portugal. A comet fragment speeding in an incredible 100,000 miles per hour blazed a green, blue, and white trail before breaking apart harmlessly in Earth's atmosphere. Iranian state media reported that President Ebrahim Raisi died on Monday after his helicopter crashed in a mountainous region of the country. Iranian state television aired footage of rescue teams operating in dense fog with visibility reduced to less than 20 feet in some areas as they worked to locate the helicopter that had crashed in a mountainous region. The Iranian foreign minister was also on board the helicopter with the president at the time of the incident. Raisi, a divisive figure who was elected in the lowest turnout in the country's history, is a conservative hardliner known for overseeing a violent crackdown on dissent. He was closely aligned with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, leading many to view him as a potential successor. The crash is currently being described as an accident, and there's no evidence of foul play. Iran's first Vice President, Mohammad Mokber, is expected to assume the presidency after Ibrahim Raisi's death. Tonight, the Supreme Leader announced that the government will continue to function as usual. Here's more details from Thomas I. Likeness.
This is an aerial view of the crash scene. Contact was lost with the aircraft Sunday as it flew into Iran's East Azerbaijan province. On board, 63-year-old Raisi, the country's foreign minister, and several other officials from East Azerbaijan province. Harsh weather and fog had been reported. More than 60 rescue teams, using search dogs and drones, scoured the mountainous protected forest area of Dizmar before they spotted the crash site. Raisi's convoy had included 3 helicopters. The other 2 reached their destination safely. Iran's Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has urged Iranians not to worry about the leadership of the Islamic Republic. He says there will be no disruption in the country's work. Raisi, an ultra-conservative, has been president since 2021. He succeeded the moderate Hassan Rouhani at a time when the economy was battered by U.S. sanctions over Iran's contested nuclear program. Iran saw a wave of protests triggered by the death in custody of Mahsa Amini in September 2022 after her arrest for allegedly flouting dress rules for women. In March 2023, regional rivals Iran and Saudi Arabia signed a surprise deal that restored diplomatic relations. Raisi has been seen as a potential successor to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Thomas I. Likeness, Net 25 World News.
New Taiwan President Lai Ching-te celebrated the beginning of a glorious era for the island's democracy in his inauguration speech today. He also urged China to stop political and military intimidation and address the threat of war due to the increasing pressure from China to bring Taiwan under mainland rule. Take a look.
我也要呼吁中国停止对台湾文攻武吓，一起和台湾承担全球的责任，致力于维持台海及区域的和平稳定，确保全球免于战争的恐惧。面对来自中国的各种威胁渗透，我们必须展现守护国家的决心，提升全民保家卫国的意识，健全国安法治。
The inauguration ceremony took place at the Japanese colonial-era presidential office building in Taipei, where Lai and his deputy, Xiao B. Kim, were sworn into office. The U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, congratulated Lai and expressed the desire to deepen ties and maintain peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. Senator Don Sullivan highlighted the enduring significance of the Taiwan Relations Act in defining the relationship between the U.S. and Taiwan and preventing the resolution of the Taiwan issue through anything other than peaceful means.
Again, that goes to our history. I won't mention all the elements of the Taiwan Relations Act, which I mentioned. 85 U.S. senators, including a young senator named Joe Biden, voted for that legislation. But it is all about saying we are not going to let the Taiwan issue be resolved by any other way than peaceful means. And we are going to prevent economic and military coercion in the Taiwan Straits. That is U.S. bipartisan policy that exists to this day as articulated in the Taiwan Relations Act.
In response to Lai's inauguration, political analyst Wang Tisang suggested that Beijing will be more likely to use pressure tactics.
Beijing generally dislike Lai Ching-te, and so there's reason to think that Beijing will be more likely to use pressure tactics, be it military brinkmanship, be it more gray zone security maneuvers, or other censures in general towards Lai Ching-te. Beijing is very not likely to give Lai much benefit of the doubt or much margin of error, so to speak. But from the Taiwan side, we know that Lai is the favorite son of the ruling party DPP's more nationalist wing. So that means that he's got much greater innate trust from the most Beijing unfriendly portion of Taiwan society. That also means that should Lai wishes to pursue a more olive branch oriented, talking nice to Beijing approach towards Beijing, he will get benefit of the doubt from the Beijing skeptics in Taiwan. So that may actually mean Lai will have the greatest scope to pursue conciliation towards Beijing. So at a much lower political cost at that as well. So really the question then is, should Lai want to extend the olive branch? Will Beijing have the political fortitude to entertain, accept, and work with it? I think naturally the Lai administration wants to show that it is as firm and as committed to Taiwan's own defense as well as doing its own fair share for Taiwan's own defense as the Thai administration before it. So I think we can expect continuity in terms of Taiwan's willingness to pursue defense programs under Lai administration.
In the context of China's response, it's worth noting that Beijing government has dubbed Lai and Xiao as an independence duo and has maintained a nearly daily presence of warplanes and naval vessels around the island, with the Defense Ministry of Taiwan detecting 6 Chinese aircraft and 7 vessels around the island in the 24 hours leading up to Lai's inauguration.
我要强调的是，台独是死路一条，不管打着什么幌子、什么旗号，推行台独分裂都注定失败。
We go now to the devastating severe weather in Texas, where over 400,000 people are currently without power after a powerful derecho with straight-line winds gusting up to hurricane strength wreaked havoc in Houston this week. Take a look. The death toll has risen to at least 7, with large trees falling and homes and buildings destroyed. Some power outages may last for weeks.
Obviously, energy is what is the focus of the city of Houston.
And a tornado touched down in Pittsburgh with winds gusting over 100 miles per hour. As the heat wave expands across the region, temperatures are feeling like triple digits for many without power or air conditioning.
Hour by hour, the restoration is being experienced. We have 7,000, we meaning Centerpoint and its partners, have 7,000 workers working on repair, 2,000 mutual assistance workers.
Now let's hear from those affected by the severe weather.
All my trees in my front yard, I have like 4 or 5 trees, and one of them, I mean, they're probably about 8 to 10 inches big, and one of them broke in half. The rest of them pulled the roots out of the dirt, so I've got to get those stand up, and sit back up. But you know, I've lived in Houston my whole life. I've never seen winds like this in downtown. Definitely the highest winds I've ever seen, for sure.
It was at rush hour when it happened, so there were a lot of people out on the roads, and I was at a meeting, and when we walked out, there were trees that were turned, boxes that were supposed to be on different parts of the blocks. I mean, it was destruction. It looked like a bomb had gone off.
It's interesting how Mother Nature is. As I've been watching, it appears that it went straight this way because that building is fine and that building is fine, but there's tremendous damage. And I worry about homeless people. I'm in contact with the state governor, actually with the governor's office, to see how much money they're gonna give us, because they don't always give Houston money because they don't like the leadership. But hopefully we can look past party lines and figure out how to help our city.
Over 400,000 customers in Harris County remain without power, and Texas officials warn that some families could be without power for days or even longer. With new concerns about heat and air quality, challenging conditions are expected this week. Moving to Europe and the ongoing war in Ukraine, Russian troops continue to advance towards Kharkiv in Ukraine's northeastern region. Reports indicate that Moscow has seized more than 100 square miles of Ukrainian territory in just the last 5 days. And this marks Russia's largest on-ground expansion in a single operation since December of 2022. Ukraine has accused Moscow of killing civilians near Kharkiv and even using captured civilians as human shields. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian armed forces have evacuated almost 10,000 civilians from the area as Russian forces began indiscriminate artillery shelling. In a move to boost morale, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky canceled all foreign trips and rushed to the front lines of Kharkiv. The Ukrainian leader held emergency meetings with his generals and senior commanders tasked with defending the area. After being briefed about the ongoing fighting, President Zelensky called the situation in Kharkiv extremely difficult. He also ordered the mobilization of more troops, along with the relocation of soldiers from the east towards the north. And Zelensky was seen interacting with wounded soldiers and presented them with medals for their bravery. Upon returning to Kiev, Zelensky immediately contacted his Western allies, requesting more aid and more weapons.
Інфраструктура. Тобто на сьогодні 7 мінімум систем плюс, до тих систем не буду казати, що є в нас, а в цілому ми маємо десь порядка я би так сказав. Я вважаю, що на сьогодні ми десь маємо 25% від того, що потрібно, щоб захистити Україну. Це ППО. Я кажу про ППО.
As Ukraine eagerly awaits key Western military aid, its troops continue to face heavy losses on the battlefield. Amid these challenges, NATO generals have surprisingly stated that President Vladimir Putin does not have the numbers or the skilled troops to successfully capture Kiev. Let's listen in.
No, the Russians don't have the numbers necessary to do a strategic breakthrough. We don't believe, more to the point, they don't have the skill and the capability to do it, to operate at the scale necessary to exploit any breakthrough to strategic advantage. They do have the ability to make local advances, and they have done some of that. They've also made some local losses. So, I'm in very close contact with our Ukrainian colleagues, and I'm confident that they will hold the line.
Perhaps the NATO generals know something Zelensky and his commanders don't. But based on reports from the ground, President Zelensky and his fighting units see the situation quite differently. And after all, it's the Ukrainians themselves, not NATO forces, facing down a Russian onslaught of 30,000 fighters. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs issued an apology after a disturbing video emerged showing him assaulting his former girlfriend in 2016. The footage obtained by CNN appears to corroborate allegations made in a lawsuit filed against Combs late last year. Now, Combs, who has denied these accusations, called his behavior in the video inexcusable and said he sought professional help. Now, we cannot share the graphic details of the video, but it shows physical violence against Miss Ventura.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I went and I sought out professional help. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry. I'm so sorry.
The newly released video corroborates her account depicting Combs physically attacking Ventura. And in this video posted to social media, Combs called his actions inexcusable. This incident has sparked renewed focus on domestic violence and the importance of seeking help. The UN's human rights chief is raising serious concerns about renewed violence in Myanmar's Rakhine State. Volker Turk, the UN High Commissioner for the UN's human rights chief is raising serious concerns about renewed violence in Myanmar's Rakhine State. Volker Turk, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, says he's deeply alarmed by reports of clashes between the military and the Arakan Army, or AA. Now, these clashes have displaced tens of thousands of civilians, primarily Rohingya. The UN is currently investigating possible human rights violations in the region. And this violence follows a ceasefire that had been in place since the 2021 military coup. The AA, an ethnic Rakhine group, is seeking greater autonomy for their people. And this isn't the first time violence has erupted in Rakhine. The Rohingya Muslim minority has faced brutal persecution by the Myanmar military in the past. China and Cambodia have begun their biggest ever joint military exercises, raising concerns from the United States. 2 Chinese warships arrived in Cambodia, kicking off 15 days of land and sea drills involving over 2,000 personnel. And this marks a significant expansion of military cooperation between the two nations, with Beijing calling it an ironclad friendship. However, the United States is wary of China's growing influence in Southeast Asia. Washington is particularly concerned about the expansion of a Cambodian naval base near the disputed South China Sea, which China largely claims. Cambodia has denied plans to host Chinese aircraft carriers at the base, but the U.S. remains skeptical. These drills come as tensions simmer in the South China Sea, a vital shipping lane contested by several nations.
China-Cambodia enjoys a very good relationship, and we are ironclad friends. And our leaders, we are building the community with shared future in a new era. And the exchanges, friendly exchanges between the two armies is a very important part of the bilateral relations. So, yeah. The cooperation between the two armies, between China and Cambodia, is conducive to the security of the both countries and to the security of the region. So, to visit Cambodia, where Chinese Navy go, we bring friendship, we bring cooperation, no others. So.
Coming up, while our eyes are often focused on the stars, a revolution might be brewing right here on Earth. Now, this weekend, Tokyo stole the show with the unveiling of a futuristic concept, a flying car. The single-seat vehicle took to the skies, hovering 10 meters above a parking lot and captivating a crowd of 500 spectators. And a fiery surprise lit up the night sky over Spain and Portugal. A comet fragment speeding in an incredible 100,000 miles per hour blazed a green, blue, and white trail before breaking apart harmlessly in the Earth's atmosphere. All these and more when we come back.
Sa kasulukuyang henerasyon, marami na ang nag-viral. Dahil po yan sa kanilang ginagawang pagtulong sa kapwa. Pero mas marami ang tumutulong kahit walang nakakakita. Kaya naman kung ikaw ay may kilala na grupo o individual na may natatanging pagresponde sa lipunan at maging sa kalikasan, mag-text lamang sa 0915-415-1035 o mag-email sa responde@net25.com at magpadala ng mensahe sa ating Facebook page at Net25TV. Baka kayo na ang susunod nating Certified Key Responder.
Let's get together. Sunday 25. Sunday 25.
Hi guys, it's me, Jameson Blake. And this Saturday, we'll be cooking Kapampangan dishes, syempre from my hometown, Pampanga, and I'm sure, manya-manya. This Saturday, 11 a.m. sa Lutong Daza sa Net 25.
Let's get together. Sunday 25. Sunday 25.
And buckle up, Tokyo. The future of transportation might be taking flight. This weekend, Tokyo hosted the unveiling of a revolutionary concept, a flying car.
今から70年以上前にですね、漫画家手塚治虫先生がですね、創造をしたさまざまな未来のテクノロジーが今まさに現実のものになりつつあります。
The single-seat vehicle hovered 10 meters above a parking lot, captivating a crowd of 500 spectators. Now, this flying car, officially a next-generation vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, is seen as a potential solution to traffic congestion and even disaster relief efforts. Organizers believe these flying vehicles could revolutionize transportation, offering a quicker and more efficient way to navigate the city. While it's still early days, this demonstration marks a significant step towards a more airborne future. And ditching the puffy look, NASA revealed sleek new spacesuits for the upcoming Artemis moon missions. In the lunar fashion show, functionality is key for these 2026 moonwalkers. The new design prioritizes flexibility, allowing astronauts to bend, climb, and explore with less effort. Richard Rhodes, who is on the design team, says giving the astronauts better mobility is one of the goals.
If you watch a lot of the Apollo videos, you'll see them kind of having a hard time picking stuff up off the ground, not have a lot of mobility. So a lot of the focus of more recent development has been on making a more mobile, higher performing spacesuit. A lot of the focus has been on making mobility improvements and sometimes incorporating higher performing joints, more mobile joints, adds weight. So this suit and the real version of this suit is heavier than the Apollo suits.
The moon's climate is another factor in space wardrobe design. Now, this mission targets a different lunar region, the chilly South Pole, and the suits are outfitted to handle the frigid temperatures cast by the constant shadows there.
There's a lot better mobility, which will help us to, move around better, move around longer, and be able to collect better science samples because you can just get to them. So back in the Apollo era, they went back in 1969, 1972. It was the last time we stepped foot on the moon. It was more towards the equator of the moon, so more towards daylit areas, and now we're going to go to the South Pole. So the big challenge there is the South Pole is largely shadowed. So there's a lot of long shadows, and when you have a long shadow on a planetary body that has no atmosphere, it gets very, very cold. So
now, a bonus feature, augmented reality displays for better navigation and communication.
Right now, the way we do mission operations is purely through audio, but as we go to the moon through Artemis and to Mars, we're going to need to give crew better decision-making authority and skills. This display in itself is meant to do navigation, communicate with mission control, communicate with other crew members.
The Artemis lunar mission is expected to blast off in September of 2026. A fiery surprise lit up the night sky over Spain and Portugal on Saturday. A comet fragment speeding in an incredible 100,000 miles per hour blazed a green, blue, and white trail before breaking apart harmlessly in Earth's atmosphere. Take a look. Your typical shooting star, this was a visitor from way out there, a fragment of a comet, a cosmic snowball from the dawn of our solar system, screaming in at over 100,000 miles per hour, twice as fast as most space rocks. Now, its path was unusual too, tipping off astronomers this was no ordinary asteroid. The flaming visitor met its fiery end 37 miles above the Atlantic, breaking apart in a spectacular display thanks to Earth's atmosphere. Now think of it as air superheating in front of the comet shard, cooking it, cracking it, and putting on a dazzling light show for everyone below. Unexpected interplanetary fireworks show, said astronomer Meg Schwamp, perfectly summing up the event. While we get meteor showers throughout the year from comets leaving dusty trails, this lone shard was a whole new level of light show, and this comet chunk was definitely packing a punch. But this wasn't just a pretty light show, it was also a practice run for scientists who are working on ways to protect us from giant, planet-killing asteroids. By studying how this comet fragment broke up, they can refine their strategies to someday deflect a potential doomsday rock. The world is a complex place, but together we can stay informed. This is Alma Angeles signing off for Net25 World News and the Mata ng Agila team. Until tomorrow, good night.
This